Today's episode is a journey around the country and into the world of boxing with former professional fighter and coach of EYK Boxing, Curtis Morton. As one of the hardest working people that I've ever met, I knew that Curtis had a story to tell. Join me as we explore the mindset and the commitment it takes to make it as a boxer. Let's dig in. So today with me, I have Curtis Morton, who is our boxing coach and one of our head trainers here. Worked as the general manager for a hot minute. And you're coming off another day of EYK just training camp, right?
Yes. Actually got bruised and battered today. This came straight from sparring.
Okay.
Straight from sparring. Because you was late.
That's okay. Oh, so you got bruised and battered because I was late?
And I didn't plan it well. That's two things. I didn't think about it. So I was like, why should I did this before this? Yeah, then I ate. I'm kind of tired, but I'm good to go.
All right. So we'll make it. We'll go quick.
Well, we go quick. We good.
Okay. So one of the reasons why I have been looking forward to sitting down with you, other than just really interested in chatting and kind of learning a little bit about your history, because I feel like there's some juicy tidbits in there. But the important reason is because you're one of the hardest working people that I know, and that is the truth. Like, since the day we met, like, one of the hardest working people. I know if there's something that needs to get done, you're going to help me. You're going to get it done. And just, I see you, instilling this in your boxers, which, is just really admirable.
Thank you.
And that comes from somewhere, right? Yeah. So that's got to come from, I'm guessing, your upbringing, your childhood, some, whatever's, gotten you to, to this place, right? So like that's, what it's all about, what I tried to talk to everybody about. So kind of like just starting out, like where are you originally from?
I'm originally from Harlem, New York.
Okay.
Birthplace, but I moved around a lot. I'm from 125th,
okay.
for 7th Avenue. Been there till I was about 14.
Okay.
Then from 14, it was just moving all around. I moved to Atlanta, Chicago, Denver, Utah, California, Nevada. It was all over. But really my home through all those travels was Utah. I stayed in Utah for 6 years.
Oh, wow. What part of Utah?
Salt Lake, Midvale, and West Jordan.
Nice. Hung out with the Mormons.
We're not going to get into that. I'm going to leave that one alone. I'm going to leave that one alone, all right?
Just moving on.
Just moving on to the next one.
What kind of brought you to all those different places? Like your whole family moved around, or was it just you? Or
it was because of my father.
Okay.
My father, I'm half black, half Puerto Rican, but my father was born in Honduras by way of Puerto Rico. But moved around a lot because of him. He was mixed into the streets. Dope dealing. Mm-hmm. My mother couldn't have that around the house. Our house used to be raided all the time. So she's like, it's either that or this. And he chose that. So my mother just had us moving.
Okay.
I never wanted when I was with my father. I didn't realize what was going on till...
You didn't know why.
Yeah, I knew why later on down the road. But eventually, like I said, all the moving, we stopped in Utah for 6 years. And you talk about work ethic, I got that from Utah.
Okay.
Got that from my uncle.
Okay.
Uncle Willie, God bless him.
What did he do?
He was actually working at a radio station. He used to do a lot of things. He did a lot of traveling, so I used to always go back and forth to California, back to Salt Lake and Nevada with him, always on the road with him. So I got my work ethic from my uncle.
Like he was a DJ?
DJ, he did a lot of other stuff too. So it was more so DJing.
Mm-hmm.
He always used to get on a radio station, did his little time slots or whatever, and then we'd leave. He'd go back from that, California to Utah on the radio stations.
That's cool.
But he actually made me do a lot of work, like yard work and paint his patio. Like we moved down there. He moved us down in the basement. We had to build our own room.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's where I get my work ethic from. You know what I'm saying? So he put that aside.
Interesting. You got a lot of siblings?
Our family, yes, I do, but it's tight-knitted. We don't do that third cousin, fourth cousin. Nothing like that. It's only first and second, and all like my closest, like my sisters and brothers. Other than that, my father was a Rolling Stone. I have 14 siblings on his side.
Holy cow, 14.
Supposedly, I'm supposed to be the last one, but knowing him is...
Like you're the youngest?
Supposedly.
Okay.
Supposedly. And out of all of the 13, I've only met like 5.
Okay. Are they like spread around, or were they located in one place?
Some in Honduras and some is in Brooklyn, the Bronx, and all over. My mother, I have one sister, Tomoka. and 2 brothers, Lene and Joshua, from my mother. My father was more so Tomoka and Lene's father.
Okay.
Josh is the baby. We all got like different fathers. I ain't trying to make my mom sound like she's just more like that, but that's how it was. But and then from there, from Utah, we moved back and forth again. I was going back and forth from New York to South Carolina. During those times, I got involved in the streets.
And this is when you were like what age? Like what age did you start coming to South Carolina?
South Carolina, 17, 18.
Okay.
And then I made my home down here when I was 21.
Okay.
So I've been down here for the last 20-odd years, just about. But I was going back and forth to New York. That's when I started hanging in the streets, selling dope, doing dumb stuff.
When you came here?
No, I was actually, where I moved back.
Okay.
I was actually already kind of involved. I hate to be saying that. It's nothing to be proud of, but that's just my upbringing.
You grew up around it.
I grew up around it, but once I started having kids, that's when I was like, I can't do this. I'm doing the same thing my father was doing that ruined his family and had us moving. So I put that to an end.
How old were you when you had your first child?
22.
Okay.
22. No, 21, 22. And that was Anastasia. That was my baby. That's when I settled down. That's when I quit and I picked back boxing up. So
And you had her in New York or here in South Carolina?
South Carolina.
Okay.
South Carolina. All my kids were born in South Carolina.
Okay.
When I was actually in New York from about 9 to 12, that's when I started my amateur program. Well, not my amateur. I became an amateur.
You became an amateur boxer?
That's why I started boxing.
As a child? Okay.
As a child. My father also boxed when he was Honduras. He won some type of title. I don't know what it was, but he won a belt there, and he kind of started showing me how to box, and he took me to a gym, and that kept me aside from out of the streets in New York, and I started boxing there.
How young were you for your first fight?
I think my first fight came at 10.
Wow.
10. Some kids are younger. Some
Did
was
you
like
win?
6. Oh, yes, of course I did. I had a good amateur career.
Did you have a good coach?
Yes, God bless him. Coach Ramirez, Coach Patterson. I can't remember the other cat's name, but Coach Ramirez was like the one. He established everything. That's where I really started to learn how to box. My father could only show me but so much, but it's a difference between being a fighter and a coach.
And these were Harlem dudes?
Yes, all Harlem. Actually, Coach Ramirez was from Spanish Harlem.
Okay.
So I went to the gym down there. It's no longer there. It's called Westfield Boxing Club.
Okay. And was it a youth boxing club or was it just all
Yes, it was like an
types
after-school program. It was something like the Boys and Girls Club. It was like after school, you come down there just to stay out the streets, and they made sure they fed you, helped you with your schoolwork and things like that.
Yeah.
But when I left to Utah, that was a different...
Yeah, did you get the box out there? Or?
No, they didn't have no gyms. There wasn't no gyms, and once again, there's a lot of Mormons. They try to... Because I'm Baptist.
Not really into the fighting.
No, they're not really into the fight. It's more so basketball, hockey, soccer, stuff like that. So I played a lot of basketball when I was in Utah.
Okay.
But I still was fighting.
Just on the side?
Yeah. Okay. We
For recreation?
About Utah. So the South is the South, all right? You would think that you would get more racism in the South. I learned what that was out in Utah.
Oh, yeah.
Because when I first came there, a lot of people thought that I was Karl Malone's son. Anybody black that was from the Utah Jazz, they was like, oh, your father played for the Jazz? Because there wasn't that many black people around that time in the 90s. So there's like a little target on my back. I used to be called a lot.
And so they were more racist there than even when all the southern places that you lived growing up.
Yes.
Well, it's funny because when I moved here, I thought that to myself, that like I grew up in New York, right? Yeah. Like New York, Connecticut, that area. I mean, I was in New York, but like I worked all around there and came down here. And like my father's Southern, right? And like grew up in the South. So like, you know, I have Southern family, like they're from Virginia. But when I moved here, that was one of the things that I think struck me was that I felt like there was actually less racism here than in New York.
In New York, yes, it is.
And it's like, you know, because you grow up there and like everybody tells you and you tell yourself because what you know you've been told in school that the South is like, you know, where all the racism happens, and we don't do that here.
No, I never. Only one time. But Utah, I got caught it hundreds of times. That's how I actually learned how to fight more.
But like, I don't know. Like, I came here and I was like, I just
totally different.
I was expecting it to be worse, and it's not. Like, it is just so not
just
even.
Just the heat of the mosquitoes. That was the only thing, and the hurricanes, and that was it. I felt like it was a whole lot safer when I moved down here the second time around.
Really?
Safer.
Than the
It was a
first
lot
time?
slower. Yes, it was a lot slower. 'Cause when I actually was in New York, my grandmother lived here because all black people there, their roots come from the South. So my grandmother actually was born and raised in New York, but she ended up moving down here eventually. I can't remember exactly what time she had my mother here. Then my mother ended up moving back to New York and had me and my sister and my brothers.
Okay.
But we always had a home down in South Carolina in Georgetown.
So you used to visit down here?
Only during the summers.
Okay.
During the summers.
When it was nice and hot?
Yes, and Georgetown has a smell that.
That's all day, every day.
Yeah,
Here,
we
but
should think that people is crazy because they inhaled that the fumes or whatever.
Well, and when you were a kid, they had the steel mill open too,
yes,
so that was even worse.
Yes. So, but then when I came down here, tried to start boxing again. Boxing is not really big in the South. It's a lot of golf, baseball, football, not much basketball, and a lot of MMA. So when I came down here the second time around, actually to live, mind you, when I moved from Utah, I was going back and forth. When I stayed down here, I met my wife, about to be my ex-wife, but met her, and then I started boxing because when I came down here, I was still in my old ways, doing things, and then once I had my daughter, I was like, you know what, I can't do this, so I didn't want to work a 9 to 5, so I was like, you know what, let me start boxing. Okay. So there's a gym called One Punch Fitness. The owner was Pete Guthrie, I think that was his last name. I know his first name was Pete. I did a tough man contest.
Okay.
It was down at the Club Kryptonite, when that closed down. The infamous Club Kryptonite in Myrtle Beach. They had a tough man contest. Okay. And I entered it, won my first year, and Pete was a guy that worked in the corners. He's like, yo, you're pretty good. You need to come to my gym and box. But he kind of hustled me. He just wanted me to start paying memberships and stuff like that, and used me as his sparring partner because at that time he was still a pro fighter.
Oh, so he was a pro. Okay.
Yes. Pete, if you listen, I love you, but his boxing career wasn't as good. But he needed a sparring partner, so he got me to the gym, started sparring with him and some other guys, and that's how I started boxing down here. Well, picked boxing back up.
When did you realize that you were good enough to be pro?
Oh, I didn't. I just jumped right into it.
It didn't matter. Like,
no, because at this point in time, like I said, I didn't want to work.
Okay.
I seen it as a quick hustle. I was a good amateur when I was a kid. When I decided to turn pro, it's more so for money.
Okay.
All right.
Sure.
I didn't have the right tools for it. Like the coaching wasn't good. I didn't have enough sparring partners. All the sparring partners that I needed were actually MMA fighters, and MMA and boxing is totally different things, especially when it comes to stand-up. So I'm not ashamed to say this. My record is 4-8-4.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to be realistic and be honest. I should only have 2 losses. Okay. But because I wasn't protected the right way that I needed to be, if you look at my record, a lot of it was split decision losses by 1 point. Okay. I had 4 draws. 4 draws is really unheard of. Okay. And with those draws, it's kind of mean like using that guy's backyard, but they just gave it to that guy.
Oh, so like you weren't protected by your coaches and whoever set you
my
up.
Promotion, I didn't sign. It is another thing I found out when I first started boxing. You pay your manager 33%. Yeah. You pay your coach 10%. If you have a good manager, he takes care of everything. He takes care of like your phone bill, rent, make sure that you go to the gym. If you have a gym membership, he takes care of everything. Oh, okay. Pete didn't do nothing like that for me. So I fired him after my first fight.
So Pete was your manager?
He was my manager and my coach in the beginning. And he robbed me. Once I figured out the business half of it, after the first fight, I looked at my job. I was like, hold on. You just got 33%.
It's got my ass beat. Where's my money?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, nah. Cut that, so I started managing myself. So I kept all the 33.
Is that a good idea or a bad idea typically?
It was good and bad. The reason I say that, because if I did get a contract, I probably wouldn't be here right now. Okay. I probably wouldn't be here. It could have went either way.
Because you feel like you would have taken off?
Yes, because I probably would have actually went back to New York. That's one thing that when I started boxing, a lot of my coaches and people that knew that I boxed down here, they was like, yo, you need to come back to New York and get your career going. Yeah. And I said no. You know what I'm saying? And then the contracts that was provided to me, I had a contract by Stokes Promotions down in South Carolina out of Columbia. And it was a slave contract. It was like, 10-fight deal, I'm getting paid X amount of money, and he gets this amount of cut. I was like, no. And another thing is, I'm not really fond on bullying. Okay. So you got a thing we call paid-for opponents. Okay. Paid-for opponents are opponent that you pay for, and then you fight them, and they basically don't know how to fight.
Oh, so it's just a setup.
Yeah, it's a setup. It's basically the only way I'm going to lose if I drop my hands and let him hit me. Yeah. I don't condone that. So I want.
But that's a prevalent thing, and it's how people get their records up.
Yeah, to a certain extent. But some people just kind of milk the cow with that. They'll do like 20 fights like that and then wonder why when they have their first real fight, why they get blown out of the water in the first fight. You'll see a lot of that in the South. They would build their record. I like to call it being a local yokel. I didn't want to do that, so I did a lot of traveling. Only had 2 fights in South Carolina. Other than that, majority was in New York, California, Nevada, Reno, Las Vegas, Reno, Florida, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee. I was just all over. Whoever paid me more, that's where I went. So a lot of times I was fighting a lot of guys I shouldn't even been in the ring with.
Really?
So yeah, I fought.
Like bigger than you, more.
So my first fight, naturally when I first started boxing, I was 125 pounds.
Okay.
All right.
That's tiny.
So the first fight that I actually got was at 154. So
you had to gain that.
Yeah.
Don't your fighters usually cut weight to fight?
The check looked good, Nicole. It looked good.
it had to look damn good if you got to gain 30 pounds.
Yeah, and I did the wrong way. 20-piece nugget, Big Mac, strawberry shake, and basically
made a big gut.
Went into my first fight with a kid named Christian. Still to this day, we're still cool. He was a decorated amateur, Golden Glove winner. So to this day, I lost by a split decision, but I felt like I beat him because I dropped him and they didn't call it. Oh. So we still sour about that. He says, yeah, it is what it is, but on book, it is what it is. My second fight, I moved up to 160. The money was good.
More chicken nuggets?
No, I actually was kind of growing into it a little bit. It was still pudgy, but I still had good cardio. I won that fight. Another kid named Carl Harley. I actually still friends with him.
Did you start like lifting weights?
Yes, I did. Okay. Pete had me bulking up, and it kind of slowed me down, but it's a good fight. That fight I actually met Sugar Ray Leonard and Roberto Duran.
Holy cow, nice.
Yes, I took a picture with him. I had to ask my mother that that was my father.
Wow.
Yeah, because he looked something just like me. I was like, that might be my father. I hope it is. He owes back child support. But we did that, and then I moved down actually because I
was that the heaviest you've been?
Yes. No, actually the heaviest I've been. All right. So when I was doing my dumb stuff, I was just eating. All right.
Okay.
When I first came down here, I didn't know what hush puppies were. Oh. Back in New York, hush puppy is a shoe. So when somebody like, oh, eat some hush puppies, I was like, some hush puppies. I was like, how many eat a hush puppy? And they showed me. I got hooked to those things. Nice. Yes. And I was dipping them in the, what they call it, the honey butter.
Honey butter, yeah.
From Drunken Jack's.
It'll do it.
Yep. And I blew up. The most I ever weighed was like 180 something.
Holy cow.
Chubby.
How tall are you?
With Tim's on? 5'7". Sure. Without Tim's, about 5'4", 5'5". I'm a little guy, but I have a Napoleon complex. Okay. Yeah, so I don't like to be bullied or nothing like that. But but my career was up and down. I had some success. I won a little belt. Yes. My 15 minutes of fame was that I was number 23 in the world at one point.
Holy cow.
For 3 days.
Wow.
Floyd Mayweather was number 1. When I won that belt, that's what helped me. And then I actually got a contract with USPN through Top Rank Promotions.
Nice.
I had a 3-fight contract because the kid was about to get a contract at USPN. They brought me in because I was a paid-for opponent, but I shocked him, beat his ass, and then I got his contract. And then they just had me fighting people in their stable, and then that's where my pay started getting.
Okay. So you did the paid-for opponent thing yourself for a while?
Oh, no. I didn't pay for nobody.
No, I'm saying
I was
you were the guy.
Yeah, so I made sure that when I negotiated a lot of my contracts that they paid me.
Okay.
Like, I'm not coming in here to lose. I'm coming to fight. This is what it is. And a lot of promoters.
But did you find you got matched with, like, people that were out of your weight category? Like you were saying. Like,
after I did the ESPN deal, yes, then I started going down in weight. Okay. I went down to like 130, 135. So then I was like more natural weight. And then that's when I realized about the rehydration. Oh. Mm-hmm. That's when I could throw extra 10, 15 pounds on. Because a lot of guys, when I came back to the ring before that, they would gain like 15, 20 pounds. And I look at them at weigh-in, they come in the next day. I'm like, yo, why does he look so massive than me? And then when they hit me, I was like, okay, this is what it is. So that's why I actually dropped down back to 130.
Okay. But did you find, like, because you were the guy that was being paid for, that you were getting matched with people that they thought it would be easy to fight you?
No. So at one point, a lot of promoters were matchmakers. I had I networked a lot. So being my own manager, I was doing a lot of business with some of the matchmakers. And a lot of guys that they had that they wanted to fight, they wanted me to beat them because they was too arrogant, cocky. Oh. So there's like, we're going to get Curtis Morton on because
nice.
I was like the gatekeeper. Yeah, so I was like the guy, like, you want to see what you're really made of. You got to fight Curtis.
Okay.
I had a lot of those fights, and it was actually good paydays. My biggest payday was $22,000 in Staples Center.
What were you known for? Wait, what?
Fighting.
Hold on. Fighting, yes.
Yeah.
But I mean, like boxers are usually known for their speed, their, something like
being
that.
Aggressive.
And what was your...
being aggressive.
What's your name?
Curtis the Trap Morton.
Where's that come from?
The Trap?
Yeah.
Yeah, from the street.
Okay.
Yeah,
so that goes
trap.
back.
Yes, I actually got that
so
from
you're
my
carrying,
uncle.
that's not just boxing.
Yeah,
that's...
my mother hated that I used that. She was like, boy, why did you use that damn name? But yeah, I got that from the streets.
Okay, got it. And so what made you make the transition then from fighter to coach?
I think, did we ever talk about this? So
I don't know.
He was an employee of yours. One of my ex-coaches, Brian Shannon.
Yeah.
And Anthony Walton, who was still working here and still a fighter. Him and Brian was actually bumping heads. Brian didn't want to coach him. At this point in time, I had my last fight. What was that last hurricane before we?
Yeah, because I think you came on to because you were, I think, still pro fighting when you came on.
Yes, I
to
was.
start the Hit Studio with us in 2018.
Yeah. So that was my last fight, 2018. I think that was the same year Matthew came through, Hurricane Matthew. It was one of those.
Yeah.
They were trying to evacuate everybody.
Yeah.
That camp was just horrible. I remember I had to dig a ditch 2 days before because they was talking about floods.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they were saying about to be 5 inches of water. Well, 5 feet, not 5 inches. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
5 feet of water, and I was digging
close.
out of ditches. So my back was messed up when I went to that fight. I was digging out a ditch.
Because you lived in Socastee or near Socastee?
Yeah, and that's when it had that big flood. So I was like, we're not going to get flooded. So I started digging. 2 days before the fight, I think they started closing down intersections. So we had to leave 2 days out, staying in I wish I remember the name of the hotel, but they had bed bugs and everything. I ended up sleeping. Yeah, I slept in the car.
Where was the fight?
It was in Columbia.
Okay.
That was like what's my second fight in Columbia. Second fight in South Carolina. Went down there, and one of my things that I pride myself is with being a coach, I would never leave my fighter in the locker room by themselves.
Okay.
There's too much going on that you don't need to be in your own head. You need to be
just got to keep them focused.
Keep them focused. It was me, Coach Brian, another fighter named Victor.
Vic, yeah, I remember.
I can't remember his last name, but anywho. Vic was like the second fight on the card. I was the co-main event. After Vic won his fight, I didn't see Brian for like the next 30 minutes. He didn't wrap my hands until the bout before. So I didn't have a good warm-up, and I was already in my head.
Is that like typical that a coach would have two boxers in a fight? So
no. Like the amateurs, I have like at least 5 or 10 fighters sometimes.
Okay, but you have assistants.
Now I do.
Okay.
Before it was just me, and I had some help.
Did Brian not have any assistants?
No, he didn't, but it was after the second fight. He had more time. They was walking around like this when the Super Bowl was about to go to Disney World.
I hope because Vic won, so you were celebrating.
And I kind of felt I got in my feelings. I ain't gonna say hell. I got in my feelings, and then I didn't realize I was about to be in the fight until I started making my ring walk.
Okay.
And the kid that I fought was ranked 12. And his fight after that, he actually got a title fight, and he ended up losing that fight. But in that fight, everybody said I hurt him. Second round, I got caught. It was a flash knockdown. I went down, got up, looked at the ref, continued a little bit, looked at the ref, was like, I was done.
You just checked out.
No, I checked out. Yo, and even all the promoters and everybody was like, Curtis, what's wrong with you? Never. I was like, my mind's not in it.
Yeah, I'm done.
I'm done.
I'm over it. Yeah.
And at that point in time, Brian, which you know, had his own gym. So my last 3 fights was only to help Brian keep that gym open at that time.
Oh, okay.
So I was actually helping him because business was going down. He wasn't getting memberships at the gym. So I was actually helping him. He was good. Like, to this day, we're good. Yeah, we was good friends. Like, at the end of the day, I think if we sit down and talk about it, it'll be all right. But right now, it's fuck him.
Yeah.
Until I see him. And then we could talk about it. But other than that, that's when I quit. And I left it alone. I told him I was done. I didn't really speak to him about it. I just left it alone. I was like, it's my time is done.
Yeah.
That's when I started actually picking up PTs, started holding mitts, doing more classes. And then him and Anthony had a situation. He didn't want to coach Anthony. Anthony came to me, and I was like, you know what? We get this a shot. So Anthony.
So you had hadn't thought about coaching at all, like other than teaching classes, which you were already doing.
Yeah, a lot of people when I was actually fighting and teaching classes wanted me to be a coach, but I would have been selfish to do that. I would have given my all of my time. So I was like, no, I can't do that right now. But then when I retired, Anthony came to me. I was like, oh, cool. Then it was Anthony, then Buck, then Josh, then everybody else started following suit. Then that's how I started picking up fighters.
And that's just word of mouth.
Yes.
Because people, I mean, this is one thing that I've noticed. I mean, everybody knows who you are around town. Like you talk about boxing, they come looking for you.
That. Yeah.
Well,
I'm the
not
local
saying
yokel.
they all have good things to say. But.
Well, you know what I'm saying? I'm a nice guy, though. Everybody's...
I mean, if you're talking boxing, they know you. Yeah. I mean, that's... Yeah. And, I mean, I think you have a pretty good reputation from everything I've been told. I mean, nobody... I mean, not that anybody's going to come talking trash to me. Let's be real, but...
Yeah, you Suge Knight. Nobody talk to Suge like that.
But, so you made the transition, and, you know, what did you find the hardest part of transitioning, you know, to being a coach?
Trying to be a people person. For instance, I don't know how you was raised, what was your upbringing, you know, why did you do it? So a lot of times I find it easier. At one point, I never used to train kids. My first experience with kids were bad.
Yeah.
Don't say
I remember
I'm
you
not,
used to
I'm
say,
not your
no,
daddy.
I'm not doing that. Yeah.
Of course I'm not your daddy, of course. So I was like, no, I can't discipline them or yell at them the same way. I actually do now. I curse at them. Parents, I tell them, like, so you've seen it. So when the parents come in and you bring me kids, like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to sit there and, like, hurt them or nothing like that, but I'm really strict.
They're going to get in a ring and get punched.
Exactly.
Like, feelings should not be part of the equation here.
But it's more so like the older crowd, the more... I ain't gonna say adults because some of them still not adults. I don't care if you turn 18, you're still not an adult and you don't pay bills and stuff like that. But getting used to that. Like,
so just having to deal with different people, different
because they think they
personalities.
know it all, or it's that, or they give me excuses. And that's one thing, like, don't give me an excuse. That's just one thing. I think that's more so for being from New York. Yeah. Just hustling, like, I'm on a 48-hour clock. It's not 24s with me.
Yeah.
Like, it's 48 hours. So when I came down here, everything moving slow. Everybody give me excuses. Oh, I got to do this at this time. And it's like, dude, after 5 o'clock, there's nothing going on. Yeah. Like, what are you doing? What you got to do? So it's been a hard transition. It's getting better year by year. I let go a lot of fighters because of that. Yeah. Like, how many fighters do you have now? Because, well, let's take a step back, actually. Okay. So, so you started coaching Anthony and Buck, and you kind of were starting to get a stable of boxers, but you were still just doing it under, you know, Coach Curtis Morton, right? So what then made you decide that I want to start my own, you know, boxing? You bullied me. No, you Suge Knight bullied me. Yeah, you bullied me into doing it. You asked me about a program, and I was like, you know what? I do got something a little moniker that I always lived by: earn your keep. Okay. Whatever you do in your life, you got to earn what you live on. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you kill, this like. So because I was busting your balls at a yes, she name, was, and I know you're gonna ask me about the show later on, but we're gonna do that too. But yeah, it was EYK, which stands for Earn Your Keep Boxing. I kind of live by that motto. Started doing that. Well, it sounds like that came from kind of Utah and your uncle. You know, you got to build your own room and shit. Yeah. So. I wish I still had that trade, but that's what I actually did come from. It's funny that you said, like, I looked back through my Facebook memories, and I was like, something came from 2012, and I had that. I was like, no, so this is already there. Yeah, you were. I mean, when I just remember you coming and saying, I got this. So, like, it felt like something that you had been. Yeah. Like kind of wanting to do for a long time. But it kind of sounded like, oh, this is something else. But Earn Your Keep this. No, I like that. Home. Yeah. Yeah, I think it plays for sure. So that's what we started doing. I think that was maybe our third year. We went at the NYK. It was before like COVID. Right after we moved in here. Yeah. So probably 2020. Yeah. At like 2021, 22. That's when we started doing that. Buck and Anthony and all of them, they're still fighting. They now fight under EYK. Yeah. And what are their records like? Buck is now open. Buck had like 16 fights, only think he only lost 4. Anthony, no, I take that back. Buck has 19 fights, only lost 4. Anthony, he's right there like 500%, you know what I'm saying, half. Like I think Anthony is 12-6. Okay. But that's the thing with boxing, like amateur boxing, you're going to get your losses. Because you have a lot of club shows, then you have nationals, regionals, and stuff like that. But we're doing with these club shows, that's where it gets a little tricky. There's a lot of favoritism in these club shows. Sure. So say if when I throw the show, I ain't gonna say if. I know you're gonna get on me about that.
Yeah, I will.
I'm gonna tell the judges, don't show no favoritism. My fighter lost, they lost.
Yeah.
Don't pat them on their back. I ain't gonna give them no false encouragement. They lost, they lost. Even Steven. But you get a lot of that in amateur boxing. A lot of favoritism.
And like, how do you go about? So like, you start doing EYK, like knowing that I'm going to run this program. Obviously, you know, we got connected with USA Boxing and all of that. How do you get connected with all the promoters and the matchmakers? That's just all the connections that you already had from, you know.
Yeah, so when I was
pro,
the transition was kind of easy because a lot of people already kind of knew me. So there's a guy called Hank Hutchison. He does a lot of the matchmaking. A lot of people already kind of knew me from actually going sparring, going to their gyms. They used to call me the boogeyman. That's one thing I was proud. Like, really, if you want to go back and say what I was known for, it's more so my sparring.
Okay. So what about it?
Oh, it was bad. It was bad.
Like hardcore? Like you just like went all in?
Yeah, it is like being back in Harlem, being at the Rucker, playing basketball, talking shit. That's why I got in the ring. I talk shit to you while I'm fucking you up.
Oh, okay.
So that's just how it was.
So you're
I
a shit talker while you're boxing?
I'm humble in the beginning, but if you start talking to me, then it's a different story.
Oh, okay.
But if I know you and we cool, but sometimes you go to different gyms, the environment has changed. Everybody's kind of amped up. They on a
Do you find there's like a lot of camaraderie around like the different like gyms that you go to, or is it like more competitive?
Now it is. It started getting competitive after our Golden Gloves in 2021. That's what I started noticing. People saying, "Oh, we #1 gyms," because we went to Golden Gloves and we won 5 belts that night. And I had a lot of people say, "Oh, you won Coach of the Year." And I think a lot of people heard that and started getting their feelings, and now they're going on Facebook and Instagram.
Oh, so then that's when people started to talk trash.
I hope a lot of these people hearing this shit. So yeah, so it is what it is. But we accomplished a lot within those 4 years that I've been coaching.
So you went to the Golden Gloves 2 years ago. So you said 2020.
Oh yeah, every year we won a belt.
So you've been every year.
Every year. Nate is a 2-time Golden Glove winner for his weight class. So is Anthony. Buck won 1. Christian. Who else? Those for TL. So we got some guys that actually got a future.
That's impressive.
Yeah, it was. I was actually proud of them.
Yeah.
You know, say all the work that we put in, and it showed that night. And actually, Christian and TL had to fight one another.
Oh wow.
And this is where I came a little Care Bear. So I'm coaching both of my fighters, and I can't coach them at the same time. So I had the fighters coach them, and I just stood and watched it. And I ain't gonna say here lie, I had a couple tears. I was like, yo, look at this. And nobody said it never been done. So they eliminated everybody out their weight class, and they ended up fighting each other at the end. So that was a cool thing.
Oh shit.
But
that's kind of cool.
But yeah, it's a love-hate relationship with a lot of these fighters.
Yeah, I mean, I've noticed there's always drama. I mean, it's like, you have a team, you know, at the end of the day, and there's going to be drama amongst the team, especially, you know, when you have a bunch of guys and then occasionally you get girls in the mix.
Yep.
And yeah.
It's more so the guys. Females are easy to deal with. I say, do this, do that. Guys, oh, why this, why that? I'm like, dude, just shut up and do your work.
Oh, you're talking about drama to you.
Not just
amongst themselves.
Yeah, so it's always the guys. It's always the guys.
Like, so what is the typical training program look like for like a Nate or a Buck or one of these guys that's going to Golden Gloves?
So when they come in, I always make them do 2 miles. I have a regiment. It makes my job easier. Because my assistant coach, which is Andrew Johnson, we actually worked together. Actually, that was a blessing because he came from Beast Boxing.
Okay.
He left Beast Boxing, came here, and that's when I started training kids again.
Yep.
Because they had a good group of kids. It was like 4 kids. They had nowhere to go. So I was like, you know what? We try this again. So I started working with the kids, seeing what he was doing with the kids. I was like, you know, he has a boxing mind. You could be my assistant coach.
And like what age groups now? Like what's the youngest person that you have?
The youngest fighter I have, I think 8 years old. He's 8. After that, so there's like divisions. So they call Pee-wees in the youth division, but they call them Pee-wees. So it's basically from 9 to 13. After 13, they become elite, 14 and up. Then once you turn 18, then you kind of fight everybody above 18. You ain't fighting no 17, 16-year-olds no more. So when I bring the kids in, kind of humbled me a little bit more. I started enjoying boxing a little bit more.
Really?
Yes.
So the kids actually like changed your kind of
Because
attitude.
I think I told you, Nicole, one time I was about to say, fuck all this.
Oh, yeah. You told me several times.
Yeah, I was about to say, fuck all this. When the kids came and I see they was enjoying themselves, and I was like, you know what? I'm actually teaching again. I'm not saying I was teaching before, but the kids.
Yeah, but it's different.
Yeah, it's different.
Because they're actually picking
they're
up.
They're learning.
Then
once you see what, when you see what they're teaching, they actually apply
you
that.
see the impact you're having.
It's like, okay, cool. This is nice.
But so back to the routine. They got to run 2 miles.
In the beginning, I didn't have no routine. It was like this.
Making it up as you go along.
Then once I started, then that was another thing. It was like, I stay here I used to get at 9 o'clock to about 8 p.m. In the morning every day. So I kind of left that door open because some guys have jobs, some getting out of school. And I had to make my schedule easy. So I came up with a regiment. When you come in, either not 12 miles, I'm about to kill somebody. 2 miles or 15 minutes of jump rope. And that's any other day.
Okay.
So say if you jump rope today, you run tomorrow. Next day, you jump rope. After that, 12 minutes on the speed bag, 12 minutes on the heavy bag, 10 minutes of core.
And they're timing themselves.
And they timing themselves. Sometimes if I'm there, I watch, give a little pointers. Other than that, once you get done, then you come see me.
Okay.
So that just makes it an easy flow in the transition for everybody that comes in.
So then you can kind of go around as they're coming in.
Yes, and I can see, let me know what you do. If I'm actually doing something during that time, that might make you run again. Okay. Or I'll give you something else to do until it's time to come see me.
Maybe move some equipment.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. We done moving, right?
Lord, yes. I am done anyway. Okay, so so this is an everyday thing?
Everyday thing. We spar. It all depends on how many bodies I got in the room that day. Okay. And I try to keep everybody within the same weight class. I try not to put too many green guys. Green is like inexperienced. So if I have a green guy, I make sure he gives somebody experience. Or a lot of times I say, okay, such and such who is green, you sparring Nate. Nate, you throw no punches, you just work on your defense. Okay. You trying to knock his ass out. So there's been times that I done put money on the ring, like, okay, go ahead and knock him out. I'll be putting, like, they would tell you I put $500 on the ring, be like, okay, Jesus. You got a bounty on your head, knock him out. And it's the most hilarious thing to watch sometimes because they really try to get that money.
Is Nate usually the one that they got to chase around?
No, it all depends on the weight class. I've used Nate, I used Bug, I used Anthony, I've used Rosie. I done used everybody to a point where, like, before they get in the ring, I make sure they don't talk to be like, okay, throw a phantom punch and drop me, then we split the money. So I make sure they don't do none of that.
No survivor
there's
shit going on.
Like it's something like that. So I always make sure it hasn't bit me on my ass yet.
Okay.
One day it almost did. It came close, and I was like, "Oh boy, I'm about to explain this one." But no, it's a good group. It's a good group.
How do you know when someone's ready? Because I know we've talked in the past about people who have left because they thought they were ready, and you didn't think they were ready. Oh
no, this is one thing I hate. Like, say, it's another Creed. You know what Creed is, right? The boxing movie, like Rocky.
Yeah.
Anytime a boxing flick comes on, a movie.
Everybody
wants to box. Yeah. Everybody think they can damn box. Oh, my daddy boxed. I did street fighting. It's like, and I've had a lot of those people do backyard fighting. They'll come in and they realize, oh, this is not what it seems. Always say it depends how you take a punch.
Okay.
Once they get
so that's what it comes down to. You can be here, you can be training as many days, as long as until somebody clocks you once and you get to see what happens.
Yes.
They're not ready.
And then not only that, because I've seen that, but it's also the work that you put in. If you just come into the gym, and I hope Christian Andre is listening to this. So Christian is one of my fighters. He's talented. I love the kid to death, but he barely comes into the gym. And when he comes into the gym...
It's 2 o'clock in the morning, usually.
Oh, so yeah, you see this, and he's doing moonwalking and all types of stuff. Like, yo, y'all need to check this guy out. Go to his Instagram. I don't know what it's under right now, but he be moonwalking, doing splits, all crazy stuff. But he's a good kid. He's talented, but it's just he don't put the work in. So I'm not going to provide you a fight if you're not putting the work in, because everybody else is busting their ass, and I throw you on the list, and you only been here 2 days out of the week. But it's more so that. But yeah, I really go by how you take a punch. If your body language don't say it, it's like, okay, I'm not going to let you embarrass us or the EYK.
Yeah.
And also that, because I'm not going to sit there and let you take a beating for no damn reason. I actually did that one time.
Let somebody take a beating? Or?
Yeah, because they thought they was hot shit. Like, I'm this, I'm that. I'm like, okay. He was a track star around that damn ring. So Jason Green. It was him. And then he kind of apologized after. He was like, "Yo, okay, I'll get it now. But he's not here.
Well, I mean, I'm sure it's hard because like it's the whole thing with coaching, right? Like you're the one that's teaching them accountability, right?
Yes.
You know, and that's not always something that people appreciate in the moment, right?
Yeah.
Like because, you know, until like they say like, oh shit, that's why Curtis wanted me to do that, or this is why Curtis makes me do this thing.
And it feels good about it once they realize and it clicks and I look at him like, yeah.
The light bulb goes off.
Yeah, I was like, see, I told your ass and that's what it is. That's what you get.
Yeah.
But overall, it's like boxing is a real humbling sport. It's humbling.
I would imagine.
Oh, yeah, it is. After a while, I really have a stipulation now of who I bring in. Because it's like I said, I have, let's see.
Yeah, how many now? Like there's a lot.
Overall, as much as we had employees back in the back, like this is just like, they're here, then they're gone. Like sometimes they sign up for 1 month, then they're gone. And then the group that I have now, I think Anthony, Buck and Anthony all have been the longest out of all the fighters, I believe. And little Brandon. So those three fighters, and after that, Rosie, then now Nate, and then we got the kids that have came along. So, and I always heard like, truthfully, you only have five fighters in the gym anyway.
Really?
Okay. Yes, because you're gonna have people that's come in and out.
Yeah. So you got like 5 regulars.
5 regulars, but then every year I always get people coming back, and then like
that's when you usually tell me to raise the rates, is when you got too many people.
Wait, next year we taxing next year. It's starting to get be a workload now. So yeah, we taxing next year. Yeah, so y'all better hurry sign up before next year.
Get it in for your end.
Yes. So other than that, like I said, we have a good group. Everybody's respectful. It's not much drama no more. I used to have meetings all the time with the fighters. I don't do that no more. I have a bye policy.
Okay.
Bye means bye.
We're done.
We're done. For like 2 days. Like say if you talking back to me, bye, and I'm gonna turn. I'm gonna act
just give them a break. Like
no, they breaking the hell out. Like get out the boxing room. Y'all cause you still pay a membership. You can use go on the open floor, but you stay the hell away from me and everybody else. So I'm being real. I ain't gonna say diplomatic. I'm being real firm this year.
Okay.
This year I've been really on that. Cause
what drives that? Just how busy you are, or because like you feel like you're getting closer to just the stress too.
The stress and breaking. I've been wanting to break so much this year. I was like kind of left it alone. So
do you think you're getting close to kind of where you want to be with EYK, or like what is the overall goal there of what you want to do with it?
Talk back at the show now.
Sure. Let's
you've been asking me to throw a show for like 2 years now.
Well, in fairness, it was your idea.
Yeah, it was. But I felt like they wasn't ready. They wasn't putting the work in. When you throw a club show in a way, you're supposed to actually show your talent. That's what the thing is. And if you're not putting the work in or you're not here, I'm not going to do it. So what's the point? Why should I bring everybody else from any other gym to show their talent?
To show them off in your
that ain't
home.
What it is. Yeah, so if you're going to fight for us, like, fight. That's what it is. So I think we're about ready. This year we're throwing the show.
Okay.
How many? I want at least 6 to 8.
Fights, shows, yes. Not fights, shows,
shows,
evenings.
So that's what I want to do. That's what I.
And it's
feasible though, but
is
a lot of
promotion and all of that kind of what your ultimate goal is for you personally, or is that just for EYK for this club?
Eventually,
you want to turn this into
so eventually I want to throw some pro shows. I've done seen the market. I've done seen guys throw pro shows and they are sad.
Yeah.
They're sad. It's we ain't gonna speak about that fight that happened a couple weeks ago. Oh, we could put you on a hot seat. I mean, I'll leave that one alone. But you don't want to
Why, was somebody talking trash?
Nah, I heard he got knocked out though.
Oh shit.
I don't remember the fella name, but that MMA fighter got knocked out. He thought he was something else, but
oh Lord.
Yeah. We ain't gonna speak on that. Yeah, let's leave that out. Let's leave that out. But that comes to that local yokel. Like I'm not gonna put somebody out there and you don't represent the brand.
Yeah.
So I think we all on one accord. They all know what they want to do. I think we're about ready.
And so this is something that you're deciding to do, like as kind of a unit, as the club. Like, hey, we're going to do this. We're gonna host these fights in our home gym, and we're all going to put out our best showing. So it's like it's not just Curtis makes this happen. It's like we're all making this happen.
Yes, because like I've been networking too. So all the traveling I've been doing, I'm going to California, going to Jersey, going to New York, going to Boston. We even got people from Virginia. I got people from Florida. So I'm trying to bring all those other states to the gym, not just South Carolina.
I mean, you seem to host sparring here with some frequency.
Yes,
which is nice.
We do a lot of traveling because I do a lot of.
Like, how do you get hooked up that way? Like, how do you decide like we're gonna go to this city? It's just gyms that you're friendly with,
and people that like actually for my pro career, just like networking when I was a pro. Especially a lot of the gyms that we go through in South Carolina, those are gyms that I was actually going to when I was pro to go spar. Wilmington, like the nearby areas we was going to, and then everybody out of state, a lot of promoters, some of the guys that I fought actually say, yo, come down to the gym. You got these people here, match the weights up and stuff like that. So there's a lot of networking going on.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yes, a lot.
Yeah. Because even to throw the fight, you and I have talked about it already, that like you got to hook up with the local promoters. You got to get matchmakers. You got to get
judges, referees.
There's catering involved. There's tables and chairs. There's who's going to work the corners, who's going to be the paramedic, who's going to be
Dale.
I mean, there's just a lot of people that have to kind of be involved in it.
Yeah, it has to. It is, but everybody's. In South Carolina, it's always the same faces.
Okay.
All right. So when it's pro game, it's the difference between the amateurs and the pros. We throw a pro show, now you have different commissions that come in from different states. You just don't have everybody from one state. That's where now you really into the business half of it. Amateurs it's still business, but at the same time, it's a little bit more easier because you don't have to do everything yourself. Everything is provided to you by USA Boxing. Everybody has to have license and all that good stuff. Don't get me wrong, you still have to do that in the pros, but amateurs, like I have to go through Hank, Laura Ward, and then I know all the judges and the referees, so they're just going to come down, get an easy check, and just go on the main way.
Do you find like when you go to fights that there's people trying to poach your dudes? Like, is that a thing? Like, does that happen a lot? Because I feel like that would be a thing.
I've had that a couple of times, and it's like, it is what it is. If my fighter gets tempted by that, and then they go to another coach, then you just made my job easy. Yeah. You just show me your loyalty right then and there. Yeah. But that hasn't happened yet. I laugh at it.
But it's not for lack of trying. Like, this shit goes on all the time.
Oh, yeah, it does a lot of times. A lot of coaches are like, let me show you this, let me show you that. But back home, you don't do that. You get smacked across your face. Not cool. Nah, you don't do that. There's a lot of things that I let slide because I know my fighters, you know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, they laugh at it. And then they come back and tell me, like, such and such. I'm like, yeah, I know that punk motherfucker did that shit. But I just laugh at it. Then they want to do business or something. I was like, nah, I can't mess with you like that. Now you can't be trusted like that. Yeah, there's a lot of sly stuff going on.
Because I know you've definitely had a good amount of drama. And usually when you go off somewhere to a fight, you come back with some sort of story of who was talking trash.
A lot of gyms, not really fights.
So do you find that you have a target on your back now with, what you've built out of EYK?
Not anymore, because they didn't know with that fuckery. I will pull up on you.
Just know not to.
No, because it's a lot of talking behind closed doors, and then once the word gets back to me, I'm going to approach it. And then, it's never said that. It's this, it's that. Yeah. And it should even be like that. It is only, I'm not shitting on South Carolina. I love this state. Like, I raised all my kids here. It's peaceful. I don't want to die here, but at the same time, it's a good state. But it's like a lot of the people, it's like that crab in a bucket mentality. And we're not even a bucket, we're in a skillet. Like, like they doing dumb stuff to try to get something out of it. It's not working. People done try to shit on my name. I have to speak on myself. Sorry about that. I'm dehydrated. I just did 12 rounds of sparring. Is my lip swelling up?
No, not that I can tell.
Still looking okay. But there's always something, but it's never me. That's the thing. It's never me. It's never me.
I haven't known you to be the person that's going to start that kind of shit.
No, it's never me. I have to retaliate. That's all it is.
But so you find it's trailing off now, like because you've kind of made your name and shown like, hey, if you're going to talk trash about me, I'm going to come ask you about it. So let's just not even do this.
Let's leave it. Yeah, let's leave it. Opposing gym fighters, other coaches, not too many coaches, but other gyms, owners.
Yeah, I mean,
no names right now. You know who you are.
It's a thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, me personally, I'm the one that says, "Hey, we can all get along here." That like,
Yeah, you done stood up for me too a couple times.
Yeah, but I mean, that's just that's how I am,
Yeah,
right?
you're
Like, I go into it. I'm going to be a friendly competitor, right?
Yeah.
Like, we're all here trying, do what we do. Like, there's no reason why we can't get along.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, there are some people that don't have the same viewpoint and want to come in hot and start some shit.
And it looks stupid doing it.
I'm not going to not respond. So
yeah, I done seen it. I used to think I was petty. You were super petty. Super.
Take it to the next level.
Yes.
Yeah.
I done see you drop. Probably, damn, she was dropping like that. Just to prove, like, okay, let's go.
Yeah. No. But I mean, hey, like you said, like I've defended you because I mean you're one of my peoples. Like you're not going to come in here and talk trash.
Curtis, you want me to get that? I was like, Nicole, we could. We should. We good.
Yeah, like it's just not going to happen. Yeah, I mean, that's.
Yeah, but it's came to a halt. I haven't gotten nothing recently. But it's always gonna be something. There's always gonna be something regardless.
Well, I mean, if you're going to build a successful program, people are going to be trying to creep up on you. So I mean, that's the reality of it. So who would you say out of the people that you're working with now, like who are who's the promising ones that like we gotta watch out for? Like who should everybody keep an eye out for? That's what I'm asking. Because you got some kids out there that are traveling around.
Yes.
And winning some fights.
Yeah, actually Saturday we got a fight to go to. Always looked at it like this. That's God's will. Mm-hmm. But I see it all in them.
Okay.
I'm been blessed
all
to say
of them
that.
have potential.
Yes,
so you
all
can
of
see.
them. Even like the ones that the green guys, like once I see them start picking up and they started to catch on, it's like, okay, I see it. But then there's some, I be telling like, nah, you just... this is
fell off.
Yeah, not fell off. It's like maybe boxing ain't for you, but you still want to work out and do stuff like that, hit the mitts. Then, you can still be part of EYK.
Just
I always
fitness
tell them
boxing.
that. Yeah, fitness boxing. You know what I'm saying? The ones and the twos, go do some squats and whatnot.
Yeah.
But it ain't for everybody. It's not to say you're less of a man or less of a woman just because you can. There's things that I can't do that you might be better at than me. So a lot of people get angry when I say that, but it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not, truthfully. I'm not going to toot nobody's horn, Nicole. I ain't going to brag on none of them. I was going to say all of them. All of them.
Okay. Anybody that comes out of EYK, we got to keep an eye on.
Yes,
basically, is what
everybody.
It comes down to.
Everybody's good. Everybody's money.
Okay. So,
except for Christian. Except for Christian.
Yeah, we've already called him out. Like,
yeah,
he's
I hope
he's apparently on the shit list today. So last question then. Who would you say out of all of your travels, people that you've worked with, the people have been in your life, who's the most influential person? And why, obviously?
Just boxing or life in general?
In general, yeah.
My mother. I would say my mother and my sister.
Okay.
Because when coming from a household where I didn't want nothing, as far as my father providing, I always like to say my father raised me financially. He still raised me, but it's more so financially. I never needed anything. Mm-hmm. I didn't know what Payless was until I moved. I started moving back and forth. Always had the nicest things, toys. I remember my room had a Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man. Wow. I had all that stuff. So every kid in the block used to like coming to my house, stay the night. Like parents used to think their kids ran away because they was at my house. So when my mother had to actually, I ain't gonna say she never did work. I ain't trying to not say that by any means, but watching her work 3 or 4 jobs. My sister had to watch us while my mother's at work. Mm-hmm. That's probably what, and that's also maybe where I get a little bit of my work ethic from. Mm-hmm. I wasn't seeing what she was doing, but her, like watching her raise 3 kids by herself, on her own, working 3 jobs in all places, Utah, Mormonville, and stuff like that. So that was like challenging to her, and then watching my sister pick up the pieces and actually become a woman early. Like,
okay.
Always look back at it like when I was a kid, my sister was still a child herself. Mm-hmm. And she was raising us. When she was 18,
wow,
like, that's still a baby to me.
Oh, yeah.
Like, having kids of your own, that's realized, like, looking back at the age you was, and like, okay, they were still a baby themselves. They wasn't an adult. We just looked at them because we were small.
Yeah.
So my mother and my sister, that was like the main 2. And you met Tomoka, I believe.
Yeah, she comes here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And she also is, she's the one that is a chef.
Yeah, she caters,
Yeah. Yeah, we've definitely met.
So 2 women. Yeah, I was raised by women.
2 hardworking women.
Yeah,
that's what I like to hear.
Yeah, that's why I'm petty. I got
that's what I like to
female
hear.
tendencies in me.
Yeah, hey.
It's a good thing, too. It's a good thing.
You better say that.
Yeah, it's a good thing. Yeah, of course I'm going to say that. I got all girls, too, so.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, otherwise you're screwed.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this has been great, Curtis. Thank you so much because, yeah, as I expected, great conversation and, just a lot to kind of take from, what you've done with everything in your life, right? And I think, just what you're doing with EYK and especially just the younger kids in the amateur program is just amazing because I can see just what you're kind of doing for them, whether it's, obviously the boxing aspect of it, but they're not just getting boxing out of it.
Get discipline
it's discipline, it's structure, it's a routine, it's responsibility, like all of it. And yeah, no, you're giving it to them in a very straight and hardcore kind of way, which, a lot of kids need and not enough have today.
Yes. So if you're listening, you got some kids, you better bring them in now because price going up. It's going up. If your kid's bad, please don't bring their badass kid. Yeah.
And 2024, we're hosting a fight.
2024, I want to get about 6 to 8. It's feasible, but at the same time, I think we probably go look like at 4.
Nice.
At 4.
I look forward to it. Great.
So.
All right, cool. Thanks, Curtis.
Yeah, thank you, man.